business is to call roll. Sheila, will you call roll, please?
Yes, sir. Pamela Phoenix. Jimmy Reed.
Present.
Beth Whitney.
Here.
Blair Swain.
Here.
John Landis.
Here.
Michael Carmichael.
Here.
And David Hudson.
Present. We have an ample quorum today. The Planning and Zoning Commission makes recommendations to the City Council. All items approved today will be heard by the City Council at its regular meeting on Wednesday, September 27th, commencing at 9 a.m. If you received a notice for this meeting, you should also have received a notice for the City Council meeting. Subdivision plats are approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission solely unless there's a request for waiver of escrow fees or construction. Only the City Council makes financial decisions. If an item is denied, the applicant has 10 calendar days to file a written appeal with the Planning Department. The appeal will then be acted upon by the City Council. If you're here to speak for or against an item, please state your name and address for the record. Comments should be limited to 5 minutes or less, or extensions of time may be granted by the chair upon request. And please come to the microphone to do that. At the conclusion of this meeting, we always have a workshop to plan for our next meeting, and this time the next workshop will be held directly at the conclusion of this meeting. It's open to the public, as are all of our meetings, and it will be held at the Tyler Development Center across the street at 423 West Ferguson in the large conference room. Next on our agenda is planning consideration of the minutes from our August the 1st meeting. Commissioners had an opportunity to review those. Any changes, corrections? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion we approve the meeting minutes from August 1st, 2023.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Those minutes are approved. The first zoning item on our agenda is A23-004, Tyler Oak Creek Development. Thorani.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Okay, that's loud. Good afternoon to everyone present here today. This is a request. Let me move the slide. This is a request for annexation of approximately 7.59 acres of land. This is for Tyler Oak Creek Development. This is in the southwestern boundary limits of Tyler, and this is adjacent to the present boundary limits of City of Tyler, located east of the intersection of Jonestown Road and Keechee Creek Road. This annexation would establish new boundary limits of Tyler. It will also change the council, establish a Council District 1 boundary, and it will also change, amend the ETJ. And the future land use guide would be established, and also they're requesting for a PUR with the single family homes with the site narrative. That's the property. You could see there's more like a continuation of the development to the north. The future land use guide, this would be established as a single family medium low density, and that is in line with the development to the north and in the area as well. The applicant intends to develop single-family homes. This is 41 single-family homes. All the adjacent properties, you can see it's in the ETJ, and the north is also PUR. The site narrative would establish, let me go back to that one. The site narrative would establish the setbacks, and that will be in the same as the north, which is 20 feet for the front, 15 in the rear, 6 on the side, and 12 in the corner. Let me go back. As you can see, one of the houses that's right up to the Jonestown is already developed, but the others remaining are not. And also, as you can see, the streets are already developed, and it has already been inspected by the City of Tyler Development Services engineer, the engineer and the department. The city will grant final acceptance of the public street once the effective date of the annexation, once it's been approved and accepted. Out of the 21 notices that was sent, none was received in favor or in opposition to the request. And also, we've been other public entities have been notified, and we did not receive any comments or concerns from them. The staff has reviewed the request and recommends approval of the annexation.
Thank you, Thrani. Any questions for city staff?
So Thrani, only one home has been completed
Yes.
in the subdivision so far at the time of annexation. Are there others that are under construction currently?
When I was there, I don't think there's one, but Mark is here representing the applicant, and he can speak more on that.
Okay. What about permits and that kind of thing so far? Has all that been worked out as well?
For that one building, no permit had been issued and no building inspection have been done. But for all the other lots, when they build, they will have to go through that process.
Okay. So there's going to be one home in the subdivision that will not have city approval for completion or that kind of thing. I know they don't give certificate of occupancies for residential, but they're only going to be that one on Jonestown Road.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mark, you want to come talk to us?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mark Priestner, Half Associates, 1121 East Southeast Loop 323. To answer your question, Trey Hunt is the one who's building those houses, and he built it. Everything is consistent with City of Tyler. This one took time to annex because we had to decertify from Tall Timbers and get into City of Tyler CCN for sewer before we could do the annexation and subdivide. So that's why it didn't come in sooner. As soon as they acquired the property, we changed up the design of the last phase to make sure that we stubbed out. So it's a connected piece, all the lot lines match up. So it's been in the works for a while. Everything was built to City of Tyler standards. It's just that one was started while it was still in the county.
Okay. And there wasn't a stub that was there originally. You had to add the stub later to connect.
We revised. Originally, we didn't have a stub out. We revised it a while ago once we got this property under contract to stub it out.
So you weren't required to stub out, but you.
No, we did it because we knew this was going to be part of the development. We're doing the same thing on the north. He's acquired 50 acres north of this, and we're changing lot alignments to stub out to it too, so that we have this interconnections all the way around.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. This is one of those. Just by the way, cities are so hamstrung on annexations now that we're trying to do these as much as we can. If we can get voluntary annexations that make sense, they're in the right place, and extend our utilities, that's where we're trying to do it.
Any other questions? Mark, thanks for
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Are there other persons? I don't have any other list of names of somebody who might want to participate. Are there those who are here who'd like to speak for or against this item? If not, is there a commissioner who'd like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve A23-004.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve this item. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Item's approved. Next is Z23-028, Smith County, 213 East Locust Street and 210 East Ferguson Street.
Yep.
Caleb?
Yes, this is a zoning change request from M1 Light Industrial District to DBAC Downtown Business Arts and Culture District. Like you said, they're on 213 East Locust and 210 East Ferguson. This is the property here. The property and most of the surrounding properties are all owned by Smith County as part of their sort of redevelopment there in that area. I believe the applicant current plans is to develop that property with a parking garage to kind of service their existing utilities there and some future development in that area. The area that this zoning is in falls within the area that can be zoned DBAC, and staff is generally supportive of all zonings that come in within this area being rezoned to that zoning district. That area is all currently zoned as a mixed-use district, which is consistent with that zoning. So of the 5 notices that were sent out, most of them being to Smith County, that's why that list is so long. Of the 5 notices that were sent out, 1 was returned in favor and none were returned in opposition, and staff recommends approval of this zone change.
Thanks, Caleb. Any questions for Caleb? If not, I don't have nobody from the county is here, I don't think. Or is there a person here representing the county, speak for the county? Anybody here to speak on this item for or against? If not, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve Z 23-028.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve this item. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item's approved. Next is P D 23-017 Breedlove Properties.
Yes, this is zone change from AG Agricultural District to PUR Planned Unit Residential District. It's located at 3929 Chapel Quarters. The adjacent properties to the north and east are zoned PUR Planned Unit Residential District and AG Agricultural District, and are developed with single-family homes. The properties to the properties located to the south and west are zoned PUR Planned Unit Residential District. The future land use guide identifies it as single-family, medium to low density, so this request is consistent with the future land use guide. Here is the site plan. The applicant is planning to develop 8 detached homes with a private gated alley, serving as access to the lot, so there won't be access off Old Omen. It'll be off Chapel Quarters. And the proposed setbacks are 20 feet in the front, 20 feet in the rear yard, 5 feet in the interior side yard, and 10 feet in the corner side yard. The site plan proposes a maximum of 1 story. The proposed development will be similar to what is already existing on Old Omen Road. So there are PURs right adjacent to it. Of the 16 notices mailed, 3 notices were returned in favor and 1 in opposition to the request, for a protest calculation of 7.4%. The opposition was concerned about drainage in the Greenbelt area. Staff has performed technical review of the request and finds that it is generally consistent with the approval criteria, and staff recommends approval of the request.
All right, thank you. Any questions from Matthew?
Matthew, can you show us the common area outlined on the site plan?
Yes. So.
Is it on the other side of the alleyway?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, if not, I have a card or a question from John Sharman. Mr. Sharman? Yes, sir. If you'd come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and
I'll be soon, my book, I have notes.
that's all right. That's all right.
There's my list right there, 4 things. We met with Mr. Breedlove, my wife and I, after he got back from his 5-day vacation. So everybody goes on vacation. But I'm not against the changing the zoning. That's not really what I know he's got to have a fair value for what his property is, and that's as good as anything that's around there. But we're one that butts up probably the biggest lot. Let me find my little pointer. I'm sure y'all have them too, but
Sure.
This is my lot. You move back. Did I do it? Let's see. Got it right there. That's my lot, and it would play out about now. But anyway, this is the antique. Number 24, is that what it is?
24 is your lot.
Yeah, this one right here. You got the pointer right there. It's my lot. I was a little concerned when he submitted that to us that it showed 2-story houses. And I pointed that out to him. I said, wait a minute, none of these is 2 stories on either side there. And I don't think he realized it was there. And he said, I'll change it. He did, I think. Okay, so that wiped that one concern out. The second thing was my notes. Okay, and I think everybody got excited. Initially, he only had that alley about 7 to 8 feet from my wall, from everybody's wall along there. I mean, there. On the one on both sides, we're about 20 feet. I said, why are they getting 20 feet away and we're... So Mr. Vu and Barbara and several of them and everybody got with him before I called him, and he agreed to move the houses back. Is that right? So because I was concerned, I said, at least the front of the houses need to be straight all the way across. So we've agreed on that statement, and he's publicly admitted, so we're not going to fight that later. The other thing that I'm still not sure exactly what we're going to do and what he has in mind, because I hear one thing one way and sometimes it can be interpreted another, is that other gap we were talking about. I'm going to go back and point. Between the 20-foot alley, right there, you see the area that's pointing there? Yeah, there, that whole alley along there. This property over here is slopes up on this, be the southwest end, kind of slopes this way. So basically you're looking down into our property. That's from my one picture that it's hard to visualize. I don't think you took this shot. But you can see this is standing where the front door would be, and you can see into my backyard. It's so high. And all basically we were asking Mr. Breedlove to do is put some strategic, not in front of the houses, but actually in the kind of a greenbelt zone to block people from viewing down in here. And the gentry's just put a brand new nice pool in, and then the same way. And I asked him about leveling the property. He said, well, I could do that, but I want to wipe out all my trees and kill them all. They didn't want to do that. So the other option is, what have you got in mind for doing on that? Is that something you've agreed to, or you're not going to do? Yeah, you address it. Well, let me get my one more, and then you can address, there's two things. That one, and this is for the whole area there. This last one's just for me. My property, not a good shot, has a drainage ditch in the back, and my side, this is, can you show that ditch there? Probably not. This is the property where water goes there. When you put all that concrete, it's going to flow at 10,000 or more gallons of water that goes through there now. And my back lot, this is the wall, this is low spot. You can pass the chart around. I'm going to put, oh, you got something there. But you can see how mine is, it barely handles it on a big rain. If he throws 8 houses worth of water, I just want him to be sure to engineer that right that's not going to flood my backyard. I'm not saying, there's somebody come out there, yeah, I think I can do it and try it, and, that'd be me probably, but I'm not designed to, so somebody needs to take consideration, a whole lot more water is going to be coming through that area right there. You can show that's it. And that's just standing out there about where the front door would be. So I think some kind of blockage, not a solid hedge or anything like that, but trees eventually will bloom on out and make it where it's not somebody just looking right in. But that's the only two really questions I have is be sure I don't get flooded, or if I do, I've got legal recourse because I brought it up in front of a public crowd, so he doesn't want to get sued either, so he probably will fix it right. But that's the only two things I had. Really, the other two we'd already fixed.
Mr. Sharman, we'll hear about those issues. Any comments or questions from Mr. Sharman?
I'm sorry, I didn't leave.
I was just asking if there's anyone who'd like to ask you a question, any commissioner. Thank you for your time and presence. I also have a card from Barbara Schermerhorn. Would you care to come speak to us? State your name and address for the record.
I'm Barbara Schermerhorn. My husband Kevin and I live also on the first lot, lot number 25 there. 20, is it 25 or 23? 23 on the left. So we're the first lot. So we'd be on the side of the gate, where the gate would be open and closing 100 times a day. But we, like John, we have no issues with that being residential areas. I think it'll be beautiful to have, 8 homes there, similar to the properties on both sides that are already developed. our issues are similar to John's, but a couple of them have already been resolved too, in speaking with Mr. Breedlove directly, in that just making sure that the houses are pushed back a bit. We have a bit more green belt, a bit more grassy area there. And then the other area just being the other issue being that there'd be no two-story homes, and that's already been resolved. So in addition to that, and I've spoken to Mr. Breedlove about it and spoken to my neighbors about it, our other concern is that when our house was built, of course all our houses were built, they were built with the windows, like on our house alone, 10 of our 17 windows all look at all those trees and that brick wall and all the big trees. And so I know Mr. Breedlove had said that for each tree that's cut down, I think he has to replace a tree for a tree. So my request and our neighbor's request would be that we could salvage as many of those trees as possible. Of course, you know, not in the line of the homes, of course, but as many as that could be salvageable. And then also our request was, could any trees be built on along the brick wall, especially at both ends? So our property being the first on Chapel Quarters, and then the Gentry's being the first on the Chapel Ridge. Of course, they won't have the gate, but we have the widest gap of just wide open. So when dirt's brought in and the homes are built up a bit, our concern is that their front windows are going to be looking right into our back windows. And since, like I said, 10 of our windows face that, we have a teenage daughter. I don't want all those homes, because we'll have about 4 of those homes looking directly into our windows. So it's important to us that not only that we replace trees, but could we strategically place a few trees along the brick wall, and where we could also place trees in between those trees on our side of the property as well. So Mr. Breedlove and I spoke about it, but we didn't come to any agreement or anything, but I just wanted to propose it again as part of the development, that perhaps that can be considered, because I know the Gentrys have teenagers as well. I have a teenager. And again, I just don't want to step out and see other neighbors and see right into their windows. I don't want them seeing right into ours as well. When we moved into the house, that was one of the selling points, I think, to maintain the value of our home and to maintain the value of those homes. I think having those trees helps with privacy, with noise reduction, and just, you know, airflow. And I just hate for it just to be a bunch of rooftops when you're looking out the windows. So that's all I have to say.
We appreciate your time and presence. Any questions for this witness? If not, again, thank you for being here. Bob, you want to try to
Afternoon.
make us feel good?
Bob Breedlove, 1321 South Broadway, here representing myself. I don't think I remember saying anything about a tree for a tree. The city doesn't require that. But we do have to plant trees, and we have to plant at least 1 tree per house. And I don't mind planting them in that location between the driveway and the wall. It'd be just as easy over there. And we have agreed to the single story, and we've agreed, I think we ended up moving them to everything 10 feet farther away. Right now, from the wall to the front of the buildings is about 65 feet, so it's a pretty good distance away. But I'm happy to answer any questions y'all might have.
Any questions for Mr. Breedlove?
So, Mr. Breedlove, the lot line doesn't include, or I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase my question. The placement of the tree can be on the common area,
right,
essentially across on the other side of the alleyway, because that's part of the house lot itself.
Right.
Because my understanding is that for every house built there needs to be one tree installed, right. Correct?
Correct.
But going from AG to PUR, there's no additional buffer yard requirement.
Right.
Is that correct, Kyle?
Correct.
Okay. Are you going to, in addition to that, are you going to be able to keep any of the trees that are currently there, or part of your mass grading going to require all them to be removed?
I think we'll save a lot of the trees that are between Old Omen and the houses. There's a couple trees up on the south, north's kind of a crazy direction out there, but there's a couple trees there at the south end that are pine trees that moving away from it, we might be able to save those.
Yeah.
But
Chapel
there's,
Lane at Old Omen,
Right.
kind of in that corner.
right,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, most of the trees, as you're seeing there, that are between the houses and Old Omen that are on that picture there, I think a lot of those will stay. But they'll be in the backyards.
Okay.
And the houses will probably be blocked. Houses will probably block the view of those trees from the houses, obviously.
Can you remind me how tall that brick fence is?
6 foot tall.
The brick fence that's currently there is 6 foot tall?
I think so. He's taller than that? Well, I've stood there.
Yeah,
like that,
it's right here. Okay.
No, the red brick fence is 6 feet tall.
Yeah, it is, but in some spots where it slopes up,
Yeah.
it's stair steps and it's probably only about 10.
Right.
That's on the gentry side. But it stays, it flattens out toward your end, so it's not quite as bad.
What's interesting is the fence is actually on my property, and so our property corners are over in the backyard of those, but no big deal.
Can you remind me what caliber size trees need to be planted at all? I can't remember.
I think they're 2-inch breasts. They're not very big trees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Essentially, might start out to be 6 foot tall
Yeah.
or so to begin with, so the height of the fence.
We're talking about planting some, what are they called?
Magnolias.
Mini-
Jim magnolias.
Magnolias, we're talking about. It doesn't matter to me what we plant necessarily, so. And we can kind of be strategic right where we put them.
And Bob, just moving on, can you confirm that the drainage structure that was
Oh, yeah.
installed there is of appropriate size for your development?
It is. We actually designed that for Mr. Hipke back in the day, before Old Omen Road was built there. So it's all designed for a 100-year storm going through there. Shouldn't be any issue with that one.
Okay. And everything will drain to that, is it to that point?
Right, right. And we actually designed that for a commercial use because Mr. Hipke originally wanted to do some commercial there, but he was never able to get the zoning for it, so.
Okay.
Any more questions for Mr. Breedlove?
I just have one.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. If you'd come to the microphone, we'd be glad to hear what you have to say.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Salita Sharman, and John is my husband, and we have the biggest lot there. And my concern is when all of the water, when our builder built our house, he built it in a hole. And so all of the water from our front yard drains into that area that they're speaking of now. And so my concern is what would happen should all of that water from his drainage go into there and back up into our yard and flood. What options would we have then? Would we be responsible for trying to get it away? I mean, I don't want it back in my house.
No, ma'am, you do not. I really can't predict that far ahead as to what might happen with drainage, but I know that Mr. Breedlove is going to do everything that he can to protect the existing property owners.
Okay. Let's see how that works out.
I have a letter or a note here from David Turner, who was interested in this project. Is Mr. Turner here? No. I don't have any other cards or letters or notes. Are there other persons who would like to speak on this? All right, if not, is there a commissioner who'd like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve PD 23-017. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. I'm sorry. There's also a letter from Faith Vieira. Is not here. Not here. All right. There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the item's approved. Next is Z23-029, Victor Gonzalez. Matthew?
This is a zone change request from R1D, Single Family Attached Residential District, to R2, Two Family Residential District. It's located 1131 East Commerce Street. The applicant is requesting the zone change to build a duplex. The adjacent properties to the east, north, and west are zoned M1 light industrial and are developed with single-family homes and undeveloped lots. The adjacent properties to the south are zoned C1 light commercial and consist of a mixture of undeveloped lots and residential homes, respectively. The future land use guide identifies this property as single-family and single-family medium and attached. So this request is consistent with the future land use guide. In 2022, the property was rezoned from C2 to R1D to allow for a single-family home. The applicant is requesting the zone change to now develop a duplex on that lot. The area primarily appears to be developed with single-family homes that were previously allowed to be built in M1 zoning. This zone change is consistent with the Tyler First goal of adding more residences to the North End planning area. Of the 25 notices mailed, no notices were received in favor or in opposition to the request. Staff has performed technical review of the request and finds that it is consistent with the approval criteria. Staff recommends approval of the request.
All right, thank you, Matthew. Any questions for city staff? All right, is Victor Torres here? Yes, sir. You want to come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, I just bought the property a couple months ago, and I want to build a duplex for renting, and that's all what I want to.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Excuse me, Victor Hugo Torres.
And where do you live?
I live here on Tyler, 2304 Belvedere, Tyler, Texas, 75702.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Torres? If not, thank you for your time and presence. Are there persons here who'd like to speak on this item for or against? If not, the staff recommendation is to approve.
Yes, it is to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I've moved that we approve the Z23-029.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded again, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item's approved. That brings us to plats. Thorani?
Yes.
Tell me what.
This is a preliminary plat for Crown Point Estates. This is a plan for 21 lot subdivision. This is located west of the intersection of Halley Court and County Road 167. This is in the ETJ of Tyler. The purpose of the plat is to plan for 21 lots, since this is a preliminary plat. That's the aerial view of the property, and that's the plat. The applicant is also requesting a variance for the cul-de-sac length. Currently, as you can see, the cul-de-sac length is 837.99 feet. UDC section 10-62 states that no internal street ending in cul-de-sac may exceed 600 feet in length, so they're asking a variance for that adjustment. Staff has reviewed the request, and the Development Services Department also have reviewed the request, and since this is a private street it's a private development with a gated community, and also the properties to the east is a school, and to the south, I'm going to go back, the east is the school, and the south you can see that there's a house on the property, and to the west you can see that there's a pond. So even if there was a stub out, if they could provide to meet that criteria, we don't see it going anywhere. And also, this is not in the priority annexation area of the city of Tyler, and this will meet the county requirements. So based off of all of these reviewing criteria, the staff recommends approval of the variance and the plat.
Ronnie, are these first 6 All available to be approved? No? Okay.
Are they?
No.
No. Okay, thanks. Yeah, are there persons here who'd like to speak on this plat or against? If not, the staff recommendation is to approve. Yes.
Ryan Davis, 2026B Republic Drive here in Tyler. And I'm the civil engineer for the project, just here in case y'all do have any questions.
Okay, any questions? All right, thanks for your time and presence. Did I get everybody? Does anybody here wish to speak on this item? And staff recommendation is to approve.
I did have a question about, so no stubs to the property to the east? No stubs are required to any adjacent property, is that correct?
Yes, the stub out requirement is 1,000 feet.
Okay, and this is only 800?
Yes.
This is only 800 feet?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Ronnie. If there no one who wishes to speak on this item, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve P23-015.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve this plat. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item plat's approved. Next is P23-016 Royal Vista Estates. Thorne.
This is a preliminary plat for a 149 lot subdivision. This is 39.46 acres located southwest of the intersection of County Road 192 and County Road 172. This is also in the ETJ of Tyler, and that's the 149 lots. At this time, all the staff comments have not been addressed. There are outstanding staff comments, and we're waiting on some revisions from the surveyor. The staff recommends denial of this plat at this time.
All right, thank you, Thorani. Are there persons here who wish to speak on this plat? Yes, sir.
Ryan Davis again. I'm representing our company as the engineer of the project. It's my understanding that we sent an email back addressing all of the city comments. We talked to the surveyor before I came up, and he said he forwarded our email that did address all the comments. So I know we got told earlier that there were still a few outstanding, but those were previously addressed, I think, last week. I'm a little confused on why those are still outstanding and recommending denial.
Kyle, Thorani.
We did receive a revised plat addressing comments, but we still had questions on them, so we sent back some outstanding comments and the comments from the other departments, wanting them to explain certain criteria. I can go through a couple of them if you would like, that we are still waiting on some explanation from them.
Sure.
If you could see all those lots that is pointing towards the County Road 192, that has an electrical pole, like a line, transmission line right across it, and we want to make sure that those lots are buildable. And I'm not sure if they had a conversation with Encore to see if they would want to move the electrical lines. So that was one of the comments. And also, if you could go back to this one, and you can see at the very end, the Jane Lane. It's a dead end. I'm going back to the aerial. You can see that it's going. It's a dead ending, and we wanted to make sure that either there's a cul-de-sac or some sort of a turnaround proposed there. Our traffic engineer had made some comments recommending to loop it around, so that was one of the comments. And also the Smith County had recommended shared access along the County Road 192 as well, and that was not addressed as why they could not be done. So those are the comments we're waiting on. This is the revised plat that we received addressing some of the comments, but we still have some outstanding.
Sir, did you?
So we had sent over to the surveyor a response to all four of those items, and he said he sent them over. I'm guessing it may have just got lost in translation. It may not have made it to the city. So I'll kind of give a quick rundown of those four items real quick. The Encore lines that are running through this property, there's currently no easement around them. We don't know how that happened because it's a new line. We are working with Encore to get that relocated. The owner does not want the lines right there because it interferes with several lots and houses that could be built. we have started that process to get that relocated into an easement outside of the houses. The second thing was the shared access on the county road that the county would like to have. The owner is requesting that we do not do the shared access because it does meet the county standards. The county was just asking that we did shared access, but since it does meet the standards, he does not want to do the shared access. As far as the dead end street there, we were trying to stub to unplatted property per the city of Tyler ordinance, and so that's why it's stubbed there. We looked at maybe going to a different direction, but there's a house to the right and I believe also a house to the south, so it made the most sense to step it to the west. And due to elevation changes, there's 22 feet of fall between those two streets, and so it's pretty hard to loop that back on itself because you'll have about a 14 or 15% street grade, which exceeds the fire department requirements. So we'd either have to cut the hill all the way out or do something crazy and lose a bunch of lots, but then we wouldn't have the stubbed unplatted properties. And so that's kind of why it's stubbed to there, just to meet the Tyler ordinance.
All right, thank you for your time and presence. Are there other persons who wish to speak on this plat? If not, Commissioners, staff recommendation is to deny. You've heard the discussion. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we deny P23-016.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded to deny this plat, and they can come back in 30 days? Or?
Right, so actually, so the law has changed, so once the applicant has made the corrections, and maybe there's some more discussion to have with the applicant on that, then the plat can be approved at that time. There wouldn't have to be any other wait, 30-day wait or anything like that, which is a good change. So I think the discussions that we've had would probably need a little bit more time to talk through to fully understand. But once that's been addressed, then we can move forward with the plat.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded to deny the plat. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Plat's denied. Next is F23-105 MF Turner Edition. Ryan?
This is a two-lot subdivision in the city limits of Tyler. This is R2 zoned. This is located north of the northwest intersection of Bunchy Street and Clark Street. The purpose of the plat is to divide one lot into two. At this time, all the staff comments have not been addressed, and staff recommends denial of the plat.
All right, thank you, Thrani. Are the persons here who'd like to speak on this plat for or against? Any questions from Thrani? If not, the staff recommendation is to deny. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we deny F23-105.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to deny this plat. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Plat's denied. Next is P23-017 Navata duplexes.
This is a preliminary plat, plan for 6-lot subdivision. This is also in the city limits of Tyler, R2 zoning. This is 2-family residential. The purpose of the plat is to plan for 6-lot. It's located at the west of the northwest intersection of Baxter Avenue and East Earl Street. Let me go back. At this time, all the staff comments have not been addressed, and staff recommends denial of the preliminary plat.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Thrani? Are the persons here who wish to speak on this item? If they're not, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we deny P23-017.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to deny this plat. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next is F23-101 Navata duplexes final plat.
This is a final plat for the same subdivision that we saw earlier. At this time, all the staff comments have not been addressed, and staff recommends denial of the plat.
Is there, staff recommendation is to deny the final plat. We've already denied the preliminary plat. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we deny F 23-101.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to deny this plat. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Plat's denied. Next, P 22-026, Charlie Roscoe edition.
This is a preliminary plat. It's a plan for 3-lot subdivision. It's approximately 4.51 acres. This is in the city limits of Tyler, located at the southeast intersection of Old Henderson Highway and South, Loop 323. The purpose of the plat is to plan for the 3 lots, and this was in 2022, and they're coming back once they addressed all the comments. So this time, the plat staff recommends approval of the plat.
Staff's recommendation is to approve. Are there persons here who'd like to speak on this plat? If not, questions for Ronnie? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve P 22-026.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded to approve this plat. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That brings us to 8 plats. Are these still do not comply with the approval criteria? Is that?
Yes.
Would you just read through those, Ronnie?
Yes, it's F23071, F23096, F23097, F23099, F23100, F23102, F23103, F23107. All these plats, all the staff comments have not been addressed for the plats, and staff recommends denial of these plats.
Are the persons here who'd like to speak on these plats? The staff recommendation is to deny all of these. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we deny consent plats group B.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to deny consent plats group B. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those are all denied. Now we're going to stand in recess and this, because of change in state law, this may be the last time we actually vote on plats.
Correct.
Some people
Caleb knows what's up.
Some people are excited about that.
Wonder who.